Everyone, and welcome to the first in a series of webinars we'll be running to update you with news and any updates on the Microsoft Campus Agreement and Microsoft Technologies. What we will also be doing is showcasing some of our elite partners and their technologies, so you can see what you can do to add to your agreements. Okay, so today we are going to be kicking off with a topic that causes some confusion amongst you, the customers, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. So we'll be discussing how it's licensed and discussing changes that Microsoft have introduced in the last 6 months and some introductions from this month, really. So some up-to-date information for you there. Then we will be introducing Encore solutions, and Lior is going to be presenting for us, who will be discussing their security solution that can fit into your stack alongside what you've already got. Then we'll finish off with Q&A. Q&A will come at the end, I think, because it's only a short session and we want to try and fit as much in as we can. Okay. So Microsoft Defender, what is it? Well, in reality, it's a whole suite of products. So you've got Defender for Office 365, which builds on top of Exchange Online Protection. It gives you additional phish threat protection on top of what you get already. You get a sandbox as part of safe documents to check any attachments coming through the system. You get safe links, which protects any hyperlinks that are clicked within emails or Office documents. It redirects it back out through the Exchange Online Protection. Then there's Defender for Identity. Defender for Identity is for protecting your users, and it does behavioral analysis on what your users are doing within your network. Then Defender for Cloud Apps. That's a cloud access security broker. So it gives you visibility into third-party cloud applications that are running within your network. And so that's your shadow IT. And it also allows you to run conditional access policies against those third-party apps. So for instance, you could say, don't allow users to save confidential documents into Dropbox, for instance. But the subject for today is Defender for Endpoint. And it's more than just next-gen antivirus. It's a whole suite of endpoint protection solutions to help you protect the devices on your network. And then this whole suite, when they work together, gives you a full integrated solution. Okay, so Defender for Endpoint. So if you look at this table, it's a bit busy, I know, but if you look at the middle table, that is Defender ATP that was released 3 years ago, really. And that is the version that you get in A5. What Microsoft did back at the start of this year is take P2 and split it into P1 and P2. Now, the P1 version includes the desktop protection of the P2 suite. So it gives you the anti-ransomware. It gives you the next-gen protection and centralized management as you do with P2. So that was introduced back at the start of the year. P2 is what it was originally up before then. So they just rebranded it because they wanted a lower cost option in there. Okay, so a bit of additional news. Microsoft have just added a vulnerability add-on for P2. It's now in preview, so not too much information on that, but if you get access to previews within your tenancy, you may be able to test this out. Okay, if we look at P2 then, just to look at what you've got on top of the next gen stuff in P1, you get device discovery. That allows you to, what happens is endpoints look out at your network to find any devices it's not aware of, and it gives you then visibility of unmanaged devices, which is obviously an issue. Then the core vulnerability management looks at all your endpoints and shows you any weak points within the network. Then there's other tools such as auto investigation and response, where you can create scripts to remediate issues automatically. It's got EDR to look for any files hiding on your network. But all this information is available online, and because of time, we can't go into this in too much detail. But it will, Defender for Endpoint will run on Windows 10, iOS, Android, and Mac with all versions. If you want client and if you want the server protection, then you do need Defender for Endpoint P2. Okay, down to the licensing. So there's some good news here. So Defender for Endpoint P1 has been introduced into the Microsoft 365 A3 suite. So anybody who's got Microsoft 365 A3 gets Defender for Endpoint P1. Then P2 is included in Microsoft 365 A5, and some of you will have A5 licensing. However, it can also be obtained via Microsoft 365 A5 security bundle, and that security bundle includes all of the Defender suite. So you'll have Defender for Cloud Apps, Defender for Identity, Defender for Office 365, as well as Defender for Endpoints. Both of those are available standalone as well. The vulnerability add-on, we don't know how it's being licensed because it is going to be in preview, and they don't tend to publish the licensing until it comes to end of preview. So there's also one thing to consider if you want to protect your servers. So protecting your servers, you need a license per virtual machine you're protecting. And you need a minimum of 50 P2 clients to be able to buy it. So the server protection is part of P2, and you need at least 50 P2 licenses to be able to purchase it. Okay, so where the confusion really comes with this licensing is, it's included in Microsoft 365 A3 or A5, and it is a per user license. Yeah, so you buy a per user license for your faculty and your staff, and any device faculty and staff are using is protected. However, it doesn't come with student use benefit like some of the other technologies within A3. So without student use benefit, your staff devices are covered, but your shared devices and your student devices are not covered. Okay, you can buy a student license. Now, depending on the size of your organization, that can be a lot of licenses. However, from this month, Defender for Endpoint P1 and P2 will have a per device license. So you can license your shared devices with a per device license. Okay, so that is new. It's not on the price list yet, but it is available and we can get it. Yeah. Then all the information and technical information you're going to need, if you go to aka.ms/mde docs, that will give you all the technical information you need. And then if you need any pricing and anything, you can just get in touch with your account managers here. Okay, so that's me. So it's my pleasure now to pass you over to Lior from Encore Solutions, and I'll let him introduce himself and explain what he's going through.
Thank you very much. So, hi guys, my name is Lior Arbel. I'm a co-founder of a company called Cyberlumineer, which actually have a product named Encore. Encore is built as a spin-off from a managed services company, which is looking into the various aspects of risks. The Encore product is a SaaS platform that integrates to your existing security infrastructure. It doesn't require any agents to be installed on your devices. It does require, if you have an hybrid or on-premise security controls, it does require a collector, a very low-spec virtual machine that basically integrates using APIs to the different security controls. The idea of Encore is really to provide you a visibility into your security gaps. I will show in a demo, so we will have 5 minutes of slides and the rest will be a demo. Basically, the idea is really to make your life easier instead of chasing reports, chasing people. It all comes into a single dashboard that provides you the visibility, making sure that you always have a near real-time updated reports that you can show to different teams in your organization. Depends, of course, of the size. We are working with, so our smallest customer is 130 people, and our largest customer to date is about 15,000 people. Various size of teams from 2 people to 40 people in the security team, so everyone see value in it. The product looks into the internal cybersecurity compliance side and also the external, and actually combine them together to provide a more holistic view. Reports can be generated in seconds instead of hours or days that customers are reporting. And I will also show a couple of use cases that might be relevant to you. So what's the problem? The problem is that many organizations use various security products to provide controls into their environment. Those products are usually not talking with each other, and they need to log on to different dashboards to get visibility. In many cases, reports are being done manually to provide something. Some customers report to us that in the base case scenario, the reports that they're getting are 1 week old. In other cases, can be 1 month old. This is a survey that was done by Panama Institute about 3 years ago, which were looking into that problem. And you can see that 53% of the participants basically admitted that they cannot say how the security tools are being deployed and if they are working correctly. And actually 41% said that they have challenges in determining how effective, wrong button, how effective their security controls and how can they identify the gaps around it. So looking into the use cases, so really the main is providing you visibility to your gaps, both internal and external. We also have new people into the job We have CISOs that reports to us that it takes about 6 to 12 months for them to get the grasp around their security issues. I never met a security team that is not busy, and when you look into the activities that they are doing, in most cases they are fighting fires, and that of course doesn't give them the time to look into what is it that they need to focus on, with priorities, etc. And that's exactly what the product does. Again, I'm just running because I want to focus on the product. And Gartner actually issued 2 new markets called CASM and ESM. So the CASM is the cyber attack asset management, which is the internal compliance side, and the ESM is the external side, looking into your digital footprint. Encore plays in both fields and actually bring them together, showing you protection, gaps on the security side from the outside, and also bring it internally. I will quickly move into the platform. So in the platform, again, because of limited time, I will focus on the main thing. So one thing is, of course, you can look at it as we provide like a CMDB product. On customers report to us that Encore becomes their single point of truth, because basically it integrates with the various control using APIs. As I said, we need one device to be installed, virtual machine, low spec, and then we connect via APIs to the different controls. You can see over here that we have integration into Defender for Endpoint, patch management, Intune, other EDR solution, Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, etc. We provide now more than 50 integrations when we always add in more. The idea over here on the left side, you see the current coverage. So in this case, I see that there is 61% that are being covered, but on the right side, I can show you how many are not covered. And with a one click, I can actually show you the full list of all the devices that are currently do not have a Defender for Endpoint. And if I can look over here, this is the other sources that basically told me about those assets. So you can see over here an host name, an operating system, when was the last time it communicated with the different controls. On the right-hand side, I can also create filters. For example, show me all the devices that are being managed by Azure Active Directory and are not, of course, with Defender for Endpoint. I can then create an email that can be sent to a specific person, a team, or your ticketing system. We can also define that this report will not be sent if all of this is already been remediated. So that's, of course, reduced overhead. I can also just press on this, and that will generate an Excel. Those reports can be scheduled and as I said, sent to the different people. I can do it again if I want to look into, for example, Intune. So again, the same thing, and I can play with the reports as I wish. We also provide you a full visibility to your assets. In many cases, when we ask clients, so how many assets do you have? They said about 300, about 5,000, etc. So we provide you a full view. We can drill down also to the different operating system that we identify. We're also looking at trends over time. That's actually to show that your budget is being spent correctly. And of course, we want to see an improvement over time. We can focus on specific, you know what, actually, let me do the following. So over here, I can actually create a report and show you that there was a review. Usually this is the case with new machines that are being added. Just another thing over here is percentage. So if I have 10,000 machines and let's say 90% coverage, that means that I have 1,000 machines that are not. And on the other side, I actually can show with numbers. We provide a full baseline report if I want, and then I can create whatever filter I want. So for example, very quickly, show me only Windows 10 and Windows 11 machines with no Defender for Endpoints. Sorry. I have 12 machines that are Windows 10 or 11 with no Defender for Endpoint, and that is important. By the way, talking with clients to get that information usually involves talking with multiple teams, and takes hours, if not days. In this case, as you saw, about 20 seconds. Going quickly to the external side, so over here it's a map of your digital assets externally. All the red lines is potential vulnerabilities. So you can see over here information, what CVEs are available for each and every device. We also look into your email configuration, so SPF, DMARC, etc. And also we are looking into DNS twists that will usually be used by potential attackers around the different domains. The list actually, they are all registered domains. So you can see that there are some omissions, additions, etc. So if you have that list, you can actually block it on your Exchange Online and making sure that emails from those domains do not get in. We can have a full reports also around that. So I can say, okay, show me all devices that have port 3389 open, and that will provide it. Expired certificates, geographical spreads. I'm working with an healthcare company that's working with Microsoft, and of course, the data of the patient should have been only in the EU. One of the admins over there mistakenly configured the wrong server, and the data was actually in the US, which we provided that information, and they immediately fixed that. So all of that information is available on the assets. Something important that I want to show you. We also connect into LinkedIn, and we look into the users that registered as working for your company and what and their corporate email. If I will focus for a minute on a specific user, so I can see Theo is working for the company. If I do a flip over, this is all the known breaches that exist. If I look into Nitro, something's not working today. Basically, you can see over the breach, what information is included. If again, I will try that. So you can see over here in Nitro email addresses, names, and password, which means that in this case, if the user actually didn't change his password, that's something that is important to note. So I can always just with one click press on the data, and then I can see information about the user, what protection you have on the devices, and I can see that you have Defender for Endpoints, Active Directory, Cyber Reason, but it's not on patch management. When was the last time it was communicated, and actually when was the last time the user changed its password? If I'm also looking on the line between the user, etc., so I can see that you have an asset again, and I can get that view immediately of what protection he has or doesn't have on it. The reports are easily generated. I can literally just press on a click over here, and a file will be downloaded. In this case, by the way, because it's from 2000, that will be 800 pages that are being reported with all the breaches, all the risks, etc. We can do the same on the internal side. So let me just quickly generate a report, because my Defender for Endpoints actually takes about 30 seconds for it to scan. So I will open the file. So this is a Word document that is being generated automatically. Again, Defender for Endpoint was scanning it, so we'll give it about 30 seconds. Over here, I can show you information about your Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, for example, users. So password older than 1 year. Very quickly, I can show that the longest period that I got from an existing client, which actually was or is a university, an account that was, the password was set in February 2000. For the last 22 years, the password was not changed. It is with an elevated account, although it shouldn't have been. It's just an LDAP query for the checkpoint firewall. So we can provide all that information to you. We can look into, you don't need to be an expert on Active Directory, by the way, for everything that we show. There is a tooltip that provides you what's the issue. We also provide with severity, so high, medium, low. If I go to Azure Active Directory, I can also show you from that perspective when there are failed logons on the user side, which users have MFA registered or not. We also now added, based on one of the clients' requests, about training and location, so we can add that information also over here. So you can see a lot of data that is available to you. If I'm looking into the report that I generated, so very quickly. I'm updating the fields, and that's generate reports. It generated a report with about 80 pages, and you can see over here for each and every information. So, for example, let's go to so all the information around that, which is also available, of course, in the system. So I will go back to the system, so I can go to Defender for Endpoint. And you can see over here information about the system, configuration score, top risky machines. I can look into different recommendations that we provide. This is based on experience. So with regards to different products. So again, just making sure that we cover everything. Also on Office 365, we provide a view into your environment, how many users, how many active users. This is a demo environment, so the data is not representing a real life case, but over here you can see how many licensed users you have and how many actually active users you have, and you can see them email counts, storage counts, top email receiver, top email senders. So all of that information is available. And of course, if we are missing something, so for example, on the if I'm going back just 1 second to the Azure side, so one of our partners actually came to us and said, you know what, on the MFA side, we want to see how many users are MFA registered or not, and also whether they did training with regards to phishing attacks, etc. So we didn't have it in the product. Starting tomorrow, it will be in the product. We provide also location if you have multiple sites, and again, all of that information is available to be downloaded, to be just click, and then we provide more information regarding that. What else can I show you? So on the we also provide lateral movement. So the idea around that, from a lateral movement perspective, we basically build Blowdown from scratch. So we created the ability to look into your environment. Believe me, in a real life environment, it's much more noisy, and you can look into specific. But the idea of it is that what happens if an attacker have access to your network and then basically try to leverage his access using the golden key, etc. So this is information that we can show you. In this case, we have a user over here that is logged onto the machine. And you can see the user, and this is how basically you can get into domain admins. So this is something that, of course, you should be able to look at and solve in order to make sure that even if you have an attacker logging in, that they will not have the ability to leverage their accounts. And the same thing, by the way, on the Active Directory side, on the users, we can actually show you, for example, new and modified users. So that's something that some of our partners, as part of incident response, looking immediately. So they're looking into the fail login accounts. They're looking also on new modified user. They can check with the HR if you have undated the process for joiner, movers, leavers. You can look into all the new accounts that have been created and see whether they should have been created or not. That's it, basically, from a product overview, unless there is something specific else that we need to show.
No? Okay, thanks, Lior.